Welcome to Game of Life 411. It's topless weather here in Raleigh, and so I'm going to be switching out the two cars, taking the Lotus off the lift and putting the Alfa 4C up on the lift.
Okay, so this is an American Custom Lifts M1 lift, 6,500 pound capacity, much more than is needed for the Lotus or the Alfa. So to lower the lift, you raise it a little bit, release the lock, and then gently let it settle down. Okay, so let me go ahead and uncover the Lotus. Okay, I have to push the Lotus forward just a little bit. I got it very far back on the ramps this time. Usually I have it further forward. So now I can remove these safety blocks. Add these ramp extensions. Because the Lotus's clearance is so low, these ones are actually more gradual than the standard ramps.
Very well.
Basically a reverse of the same process. There you go. Okay, so now I'd like to show you a couple things about owning an Alfa Romeo 4C. So first off, how do you park it in the garage and avoid damaging the car? Because the car is, it has some exotic lines, it can be somewhat fragile. So when you open the door, it's a very wide swing, okay? And you can see that it's got some very exotic angles here on the edge of the door. And so those are going to be very prone to chipping and damage if you're not careful. If you bump this up against something, it's likely to get damaged. So what I've done over here is I've actually put this foam bumper up on the wall, and that protects me. So anytime that I'm opening the door, I actually am trying to contact with the foam bumper, okay? It also makes it easier to get in and out of the car. So you can see here, as I open this the full way, it touches very nicely on this foam bumper. Now there are different products, but this one I thought was a pretty good one. It's a German company and does a good job. Okay, the other thing I wanted to point out is this little piece of tape right here. Okay, this garage is somewhat limited in terms of its depth. And so even though a car like the Alfa 4C is very short, I do have to be careful and make sure that my car is pulled in far enough so that the garage door doesn't close on it. So what I've done is I've measured and checked and double checked, and I put this piece of tape here. So when I pull forward and I open my door, as long as I can see the piece of tape on this side of the door, then I know I'm in far enough. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you get into the Alfa Romeo 4C. It's very similar to how I get into my Lotus Elise. Okay. There you go. So basically you start with the right leg coming in, sliding under the steering wheel, then a squat, and you fold yourself over, and then tuck in. Okay, for reference, I'm about 6'2", 6'3", 175 pounds. Okay, so now I need to take the entry ramps off so that I can go ahead and raise this up. Technically, I can raise the lift with the ramps on there. I do have enough clearance here in my garage, but they hang down at a little bit of an angle and they're very sharp. So I wouldn't want anyone to bang their head into that. They have some very tall frames. Okay, it's not absolutely necessary, but safety precaution, I'm going to put these stops in behind the rear wheels of the car, just in case the brake lets loose. I won't have a car rolling off of the ramp. That would be a disaster. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and raise the lift now. Hearing some clicking shortly. That's as the ramp is passing the various lock points. There you go. Okay, once you've raised the lift to the maximum height where you want to keep it, what you need to do is relieve a little bit of the hydraulic pressure so that the lift is actually resting on the lock. You don't want it being suspended using the hydraulic pressure. You want it to be resting on the locking mechanism. So I'm going to let just a little bit out. There you go. Okay, so now it's resting on the lock. And then similarly, when I have to bring the car down, I need to raise it up a little bit so I can then release the lock by pulling this pin here and then let it down gradually by relieving more of the pressure. Okay? The other thing I guess worth noting, so this is a American Custom Lifts M1 lift, 6,500 pound capacity. This is the larger of their M1 lifts. And the main reason that I chose the larger of the lift, it's, in terms of weight capacity, it's far more than I need for the Alfa Romeo or for the Lotus. But it gives us additional height. It gives us, I think, 12 or 14 inches additional height. And this main support column is, consequently 12 or 14 inches higher. So you can see I can walk under here comfortably. I'm nowhere near banging my head on this lift. Okay, I'm fortunate in that our garage has a high enough ceiling I can do that and still store the cars. The height of this is really nice. They're 4,000, it's a 4,000 or 4,500 pound capacity M1 lift is their mainstay. It's several $1,000s cheaper, but it only goes up to 72 inches of clearance. And I'm 6'2" or 6'3", so that means that the ramp would be right at the top of my head. And so as you're walking and bobbing a little bit, I would just be gashing my skull all the time. And not just me, but my whole family is fairly tall. So I didn't want to have that risk. It was worth investing in the higher clearance, higher capacity ramp lift, and we had the ceiling space for it, just barely. Just as a point of reference, I was watching some other YouTube videos of car aficionados and the lifts that they have in their garages. There's one gentleman who had a 4-post lift that he installed, and it was quite a bit less expensive than this single-post lift, but I was pretty freaked out when I watched him use it because of two things. One was the posts wobbled significantly as he started raising it, so that made me very nervous. I was not sure. I'm sure it's stable, but still, that would make me very nervous. And then the other thing was, because you're coordinating power to all 4 corners, there is some electrical and pneumatic tubing going around, and so he was showing in the video that as he's raising it, he actually had to move the controller that he was using so that it would clear something as it was going up and down. So it seemed a little bit of a touchy situation. I am thrilled with this single post lift. It is super simple, and since we have quite a small garage, it was by far the best choice for us. It really allowed us to maximize the use of our space. So what about the shirt I'm wearing today? This shirt is from the very first BMW performance driving school that I attended over 20 years ago. Since then, I've attended every year, sometimes multiple times per year, and I've gone with friends and family and my kids, and it's been a great experience, life-forming. So way back 20 years ago, I did the full 2-day event, M School, and had the exciting opportunity to do the skid pad with Danica Patrick as my co-pilot. So if you'd like to hear more about that experience or about the BMW performance driving schools in general, feel free to let me know in the comments. And the Lotus, which is a coupe, doesn't have that ability, so I'm going to put that up on the storage lift for now.
You called it a Lotus.
Oops. Shall I redo it?
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. Also, please check out my other videos. And remember, in the game of life, play to win.